I just got home from my job delivering pizzas in a small town in North Carolina, and my heart is still pounding from what I saw tonight. I just started recently, and this was my first night shift. I hope it's my last. I was going back to the store after delivery a little after 9 o'clock when I saw it riding towards me on a bicycle. It looked like a person for the most part, but it was wearing one of those blank plastic Halloween masks like you can get at any store. The mask had a wavy line from the top left, wearer's right, to the bottom right, which separated the mask into a purple half and an orange half. I couldn't tell what it was wearing because it was too dark and the clothes were black. Out on the top of the mask there was something that could have been hair, but it seemed strange to me. The hair was at least a foot tall on its own, and the only way I can describe it as a plant of some sort. It looked like a bunch of tangled branches and vines all sprouting from the thing's head. It was doing a wheel stand all the way down the street towards me without losing an iota of balance. The thing that really tipped me off that this wasn't human, though, was the aura it gave off. I couldn't stop looking at it for more than a second. It drew my eyes almost magnetically. Every second I looked at it, the more terrified I felt. It wasn't just my natural reaction of fear either. This was powerful and evil. My head started pounding. I was screaming involuntarily and tears welled up in my eyes. I was about to make a turn when I saw it coming towards me, and as soon as I completed the turn, barely able to look at where I was going, the thing disappeared. I turned around to look back down the street I was just on, and it was gone. I was still extremely rattled, panting and whining like a dog, but I knew I had to make it back to the store. I made a slight left onto the long avenue where my store was located when I saw it riding towards me again, still doing a wheel stand. It started out on my right, but rode around me to get on my left as I proceeded towards the store. I was trying my best to outrun it, but it was keeping up with me exactly, until it suddenly jumped off the bike onto the sidewalk and caught it without effort. I was still screaming and tearlessly crying the whole time, but I whipped my truck into the store lot, hoping it meant safety. To my horror, I saw a bicycle, not belonging to anyone in the store, leaned up against the wall directly in front of my parking spot. I looked across the street to see where I had seen the thing hit the ground and saw that there was nothing there. I hesitated to even leave my truck, but I had to complete my shift, so I went inside with my guard up as much as it could be considering how terrified I was. My coworkers were all fine, but there were no customers in the store. That's not unusual considering the time of night, but that meant that the bicycle's owner was MIA. I rubbed my face for a few moments in front of a fan and grabbed my next delivery. I exited the store to discover the bicycle was gone, even though I hadn't noticed anyone move it. I worked the rest of my shift until 10 o'clock and didn't see the thing again. That's not to say there was nothing out of the ordinary, but the bike stalker was gone at least. The whole way home I was unnaturally paranoid. Around every curve and corner, I feared it would be standing in the road, waiting for me. I could see it in my head. The vision I had of it standing on a certain bridge on the way home felt so real that I nearly drove into the creek. I'm home now, in what I hope is safety, but I'm definitely still on edge. I've seen a lot of things in my 20 years, but I have never experienced anything like that. I delivered pizzas from age 19 to 23, 2009 to 2013, in a crappy part of town. One night near close, we got a shady sounding order, I didn't take the call, to a fake address. and they changed it to another when we wouldn't deliver. We had a sneaking suspicion something was up, so I brought the cook with me and we both brought large metal pipes with us. He just stood next to my car while I went to the door. When I knocked, the porch light flicked on and off a few times. I knocked again, and the porch light flickers. It happens a few more times until some grouchy, middle-aged man opens the door. Think Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Bluntly tells me he didn't order and shut the door in my face. When we left, we noticed a bunch of hooded guys in the bushes across the street. Later that night, a rival pizza chain driver was robbed on that street. I'm a girl, and when I was delivering pizzas, I was around 18 to 19. Pretty scrawny looking thing. Anyways, I had a big delivery to a guy's party in his apartment. The apartment was on the top floor, so after hauling about 10 pizzas up 3 flights of stairs, I looked considerably frazzled. The guy opens the door and there are about 15 men in the apartment, and he says I should come in and put them down on the table. Now, I know better than to just enter people's houses, but this table was right near the door and there was no way I was going to be able to take his cash with 3 pizza bags draped over my arms. So I take one step towards the table and hear the door slam shut behind me. He locks the door and says,
"We got one."
And all these guys start snickering, and although it turned out to be a joke, albeit not a funny one, it was one of the most terrifying moments in my life.